Okay, let's dive into this surprisingly complex and, let's be honest, absolutely critical world of supply chains. We're going to unpack a blueprint for achieving excellence in what feels like an increasingly chaotic world, all based on some fascinating research from Peter W. Robertson.
I mean, we've all seen it, right? You go to the store and the shelves are empty. That package you ordered is delayed for weeks. The stuff we need, the stuff we rely on, just isn't where it's supposed to be. It is so frustrating, and it really feels like the whole system is more fragile than ever. So, what on earth is going on? Well, the heart of the problem actually has a name. It's an acronym that perfectly captures the world we're all living and working in now: VUCA. This is exactly why all that perfect, just-in-time planning can suddenly turn into just isn't there. So let's break this down, because it really explains the chaos. You've got volatility, think sudden spikes in demand for toilet paper; uncertainty, like, I don't know, a global pandemic, maybe. Then there's complexity with all these tangled, interconnected global networks. And finally, ambiguity, where it's just not clear what's causing what. This kind of environment is basically a perfect storm for what we call black swan events. Those are the things you never see coming, like a major trade war or a natural disaster that can just shatter an entire supply chain overnight. But this isn't some new 21st century problem. Way back over 2,500 years ago, the legendary military strategist Sun Tzu basically said the same thing. Success or failure all comes down to logistics. An army, or a company for that matter, is absolutely nothing without its supply line. It's a timeless, timeless truth. Okay, so if VUCA is the problem, what's the goal? What are we even aiming for? Let's start by defining what perfect even looks like in the world of logistics. What is the absolute ideal? And here they are. It all boils down to these 6 rights of perfect delivery: the right product, right quality, right quantity, right place, right time, and right cost. Now, that sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? But trying to get all 6 of these right every single time for every single customer in a world defined by VUCA, well, that is the monumental challenge. All right, so we've got the problem on one side, chaos, and the goal on the other, perfection. So how do we build a bridge between the two? How do we actually engineer a supply chain that can hit those 6 rights when the world is just so darn unpredictable? Now, the secret here isn't some magic piece of software or one clever trick. It's not about finding a single silver bullet. No, achieving real excellence comes down to truly mastering a set of 4 deeply interconnected core processes. And here they are. This is the blueprint: strategy, design, execution, and people. You could think of these as the 4 massive pillars that hold up the entire structure. If you can get these 4 pillars right, you've built a foundation that can actually withstand all that chaos we talked about. All right, let's break this blueprint down and take a look at each of these 4 core processes one by one. So first up, you've got strategy. This is your North Star. It's the why and the what behind everything you do. This is where you define who your customers are, what your goals are, and this is so important, it's where you do a full risk analysis before things go sideways. Because without a crystal clear strategy, everything that follows is basically just guesswork. Okay, so after strategy, which is process 1, comes process 2. Design. That's where you build the physical and digital network. You're figuring out where to put your warehouses, what routes the trucks will take, how all the information flows. And then, once that's all designed, we get to process 3. Execution. This is the doing part. It's the day in, day out physical reality of moving stuff around. You see it right here in the life of an order, from the second a customer clicks buy to the moment that box lands on their doorstep. Nailing execution means making this flow as smooth, fast, and mistake-free as humanly possible. And that brings us to the 4th process, people. Now, this is the crucial part. You can argue this is the most important process of them all, yet it's the one that gets overlooked constantly. You can have the most brilliant strategy and the slickest, most automated execution plan in the world, but if you don't have the right people with the right skills, the right leadership, and the right culture, the whole system will eventually just fall apart. And this idea of people brings us to a really profound concept. You see, true excellence in a supply chain, it's not just about trucks and tech. It's really a duet between the technical side and the cultural side. Just look at this comparison. It's basically the yin and yang of supply chain excellence. On one side, you have all the hard stuff, the technical excellence, the computer systems, the data analytics, the process maps. But on the other side, you have cultural excellence, the quality of your leaders, the strength of your relationships with partners, the way your teams collaborate. You absolutely cannot have long-term success by just focusing on one side of this equation. They have to be in perfect harmony.
So let's kind of bring this all home. Why does mastering this blueprint, this technical and cultural duet, matter so much, especially right now?
Get a load of this number. A study on bioethanol production found that having a superior strategy and design didn't just give a company a small edge. No, it produced a net present value that was 22.5 times greater than the baseline. That's not just better, that's a whole different universe of value. And it shows you the incredible exponential power of getting those first two processes, strategy and design, right.
And in the end, the real goal is so much bigger than just surviving the next disruption. This quote just frames it perfectly. The ultimate objective is to build a system that is so resilient, so efficient, and so in tune with its entire ecosystem that it could, in theory, just keep going forever. It completely shifts the focus from short-term profits to true, long-term sustainability.
Which leaves us with one last big idea to chew on. We tend to think of logistics and supply chains as kind of boring, right? The invisible plumbing of the global economy. But as we've seen, mastering it is really about building resilience against chaos and designing for the long haul. So the question is, could it be that this supposedly boring world is actually one of the most important keys we have to unlocking a more stable and a more sustainable future for all of us?